Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra, the first robot vacuum cleaner to literally reach the stratosphere. This thing actually went to space. But this Chinese Gagarin has more going for it than just its out-of-this-world journey. Take its top-tier navigation, packed with all kinds of sensors, including linear lasers. In the ads, it can detect puddles on the floor. A retractable side brush sweeps debris out of corners. A vibrating mop with a 0.8-inch lift and a mini side mop are designed to handle dirt even right up against walls. Add 2 rollers and a 10 kilopascal suction motor, and you've got the recipe for some real cleaning magic. But does it deliver? Let's break it down in this in-depth Best Robot review. On the table here is the box, with a pretty premium look. Inside, the auto-empty dock and the heavy-duty vacuum itself. We'll check those out in a second. Also included, a removable ramp. You also get a spare dust bag. A nice touch since some brands don't even include one anymore. As usual with Roborock, you don't get a ton of extra accessories. For a robot this advanced, with 10,000 Pascal suction and an RGB camera, the price is pretty reasonable, though, yeah, it could always be a little cheaper. Back to the S8 MaxV Ultra. It's a big, solid, premium-looking vacuum. The full height of the body is 4.05 inches, so double-check your furniture clearance before you buy. It's got a LiDAR sensor with a pressure sensor to help it avoid getting stuck under low couches. On the front panel, you'll find the start and home buttons. And now, a dedicated mopping button as well. Another curious design choice. The top panel is removable, but only partially. Why? Good question. Let's not overanalyze. Instead, let's check out the dustbin. It's a standard box with a HEPA filter on the back and side flaps for easy emptying. The only novelty here is a shutter flap at the intake opening. The spring-loaded bumper barely gets used. Now, the robot relies more on its advanced sensor suite. That includes linear lasers to detect large objects, a structured light camera, and an RGB camera. Both cameras help it recognize obstacles, and there's a built-in headlight for dark spaces. On the side, there's a cutout for the retractable edge brush and a standard slot for a side DTOF sensor. On the rear, you'll see the docking wheel and a base-finding sensor underneath. The charging contacts are spread wide apart, and on the bottom, a refill port for the water tank. On the left side, there's a dust outlet and an exhaust vent. Underneath, it's the usual layout: off-road style wheels, a swivel wheel, an ultrasonic carpet sensor, and 6 cliff sensors. 2 of them are placed behind the wheels to help with reverse movement. Now to the cleaning tools. The side brush is a standard tri-blade with a retractable arm. Nothing fancy-like on the newer Q-Rivo curve. The main brush assembly is wide and dual spring mounted to stay flush with the floor. Beneath the wave cut housing are 2 rollers with removable locks. They handle most of the dry vacuuming. Suction is secondary here. We'll talk more about that in the test results. For mopping, it uses a vibrating mop with a thick, high-quality cloth. There are still only 2 vibrating zones, and the whole mop doesn't vibrate. Because of the way it's built, it can't clean right up against walls. So, Roborock engineers added a backup plan. A spinning side mop that targets baseboards. It's about the size of a cotton pad, and to keep it in place, they literally screwed it on. Looks like someone cut the design team's coffee budget. That said, the exterior design is on point. The dock looks fantastic. Of course, design is subjective, but it's definitely eye-catching. After cleaning, the robot docks, empties its dustbin, refills its water tank, and washes the mop pad with detergent and hot water, using a brush roller that moves side to side on a track. There's even a separate pad for the mini side mop, which gets cleaned via spinning and friction against a grill. For maintenance, you can remove the filter screen, the brush roller, and rinse off the ramp, though the main tray is fixed. Under the front panel, you'll find a refillable detergent tank. Just open the cap and pour in the cleaning fluid. In the larger compartment, a branded dust bag with a plastic latch. The tanks still insert from the top without lids. Why? That speeds up servicing, but makes it harder to wipe off dust. Their shape is unusual, but the capacity is standard, around 3.5 to 4 liters. You can't open the tanks fully, which makes thorough cleaning tricky. Inside the clean water tank, there's a sanitation element. Otherwise, the layout is pretty standard. At the back, there's a cable management channel and a service port, but you can't hook it up to smart plumbing. For that, you'd need the smaller station model. Overall, the dock makes a solid impression. It looks great, and finally, detergent dispensing is here. Now let's move on to controls. You'll need the Roborock app. During setup, just select your region and connect to a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network. Setup is quick and smooth. The robot mapped out the area in just 8 minutes. It spotted the mirror and marked it with an icon, but still drew a mirrored room anyway. It didn't place furniture icons, but did identify floor types for most of the space. You can see the full feature list on screen. Feel free to pause for a closer look. I'll highlight a few standout features. Vibration speed and water flow are synced on a single slider. There's no fine-tuned moisture control like on the Q-Revo, but zigzag density adjustment is the same. There's also a deep clean mode that slows down the robot for more thorough mopping. There's also a feature called Smart Plan. The robot automatically adjusts cleaning settings for each room based on its layout and conditions. Below the detergent toggle, it says the fluid is used not only to clean the mop, but also to fill the tank, as in theory, helping to break down tough stains. In the experimental features section, there's a dirt detection mode, which we'll test later. Obstacle avoidance can also be customized. You can enable photo logging, tweak sensor sensitivity, allow pet recognition, and activate AI support. You can even remotely connect to the camera, drive the robot around, and check in on your cat. And you don't need to use a joystick to do it. Just tap the Find Pet button and let the robot do the rest. Although it didn't actually find the orange cat and ignored the toy entirely. The feature set is impressive, but it's missing just a few things. Like the ability to hide unused rooms on the map or mark curtain zones. Roborock's MaxV models have always been known for advanced navigation. Let's see how this space-grade flagship performs. First, it locks onto potential hazards and tangled cords. It scans a scale, checks the space around obstacles, and slowly ventures into the danger zone. Its behavior isn't always predictable. It approaches from different angles and often backs away, re-cleaning already mapped areas. But in the end, the S8 MaxV Ultra successfully avoided all hazards. Aside from these minor glitches, this model's obstacle navigation is top tier. Easily one of the smartest all-in-one vacuums we've tested in the lab. Performance doesn't drop in the dark either. The headlight and linear lasers work together perfectly. Now, can this robot really detect puddles? During mopping mode, it spots a puddle, adds it to the map, and even claims it'll lift the main brush for a deep clean. Which is odd, since in mopping mode, the main brush is already lifted by default. Either way, after the cycle, the brush stays dry. But during combo cleaning, now when it matters most, the robot ignores puddles completely. No map markers, no reaction. Water soaks into the rollers, dustbin, and maybe even the motor. So yes, it can detect puddles, but the algorithm still needs work. When it comes to stains, the story's different. The robot doesn't recognize them in any mode, even with Smart Plan enabled. No map markers, no path adjustments, no signs of intelligence there. So we zoom out and launch a full room clean. The S8 MaxV avoids curtains and confidently follows along a white baseboard. A dark baseboard threw it off slightly. It changed its path, but nothing major. The strange part was how it reacted to a drying rack. It tried to climb the thin legs, got stuck, and made some awful noises doing it. After all that precise obstacle avoidance, this was disappointing. Same with a thin table leg. The robot didn't even notice it. It only started brushing after bumping into the leg. So yeah, obstacle recognition still needs refinement. Regular furniture legs, black, white, chrome, are detected fine. What matters is the overall size. Next, I tested how it behaves on carpets. The mop module lifts by 0.8 inches, just as advertised. Unlike some rivals, it doesn't touch even medium pile rugs. A big plus if you've got something like a faux bearskin near the fireplace. If needed, the robot can also route around carpets, doing so carefully if you prep the map in advance. Or you can let it mop them, like on a rubber mat by the front door. Dark rugs don't throw it off. It handles them calmly in any direction. Surface sensors work well. It won't fall off a table or down the stairs. When it comes to thresholds, it performs great. It cleared both 0.6 inches and 0.8 inches, trims diagonally on the first try. As for cleaning under furniture, and remember, the robot's height is 4.05 inches, so you'll need at least 4.1 inches of clearance. In a normal home, it moves predictably and logically, no random paths, and it covers all accessible zones in the right order. Despite its modest battery capacity by today's standards, the runtime is impressive even on max power. After a full run, the dustbin was packed with hair, crumbs, and dust. The rollers were clean, but the ends had hair and string wrapped around them. The robot must have found those somewhere. Noise-wise, the S8 MaxV Ultra is in line with the rest of the S series. From 54 decibels on quiet mode to 69 decibels at full blast. That's about 20% louder than the Q Revo line. I'd love to say it's because of higher suction, but here's the thing. In Max Plus mode, the robot ran for 10 minutes on the test rig, hitting every gap from every direction. And here's what it managed. Cleaned out a 0.08-inch gap in 2 spots, also managed to fix a 0.16-inch gap in one area. And that's it. Most of that supposed 10,000 pascals of suction gets lost in the dual roller system. It can't deep clean a front door mat, but overall it handles dry debris just fine. The cleaning route is standard, twice along the edges and then crisscross zigzags. Even with limited suction, the rollers pick up most dirt types efficiently, and the side brush extends when entering corners. I counted just 9 tiny debris pieces left behind, weighing less than a gram in total. Another vacuum joins the 100% club on laminate. But corners? That's where things get murky. The side brush extends too late to be fully effective. On the first pass, corner cleaning is weak. On the second, better. But the debris spread is up to 6 inches wide. When it comes to sand cleaning, the S8 MaxV Ultra is an artist. It cleared the wooden panel surface nicely, though a damp cloth still picked up leftover grains. It also didn't fully clean the seams or outer edges. After 2 passes, the side brush does pull sand from the deep corners, but also scatters it around. On thin rugs, the robot triggered double clean mode. Something will count in scoring. It cleaned the center area thoroughly, but wall edges and corners still had issues. On a shaggy rug, though, the twin rollers were perfect. They spin in opposite directions, agitating the fibers and pulling out embedded dirt. A standard cleaning cycle was enough to pick up 84% of debris, though there's always more deep inside. Still, this isn't a stick vacuum. Dry cleaning performance was pretty much what we expected, best on laminate and mid-pile carpets. After testing, the tools were fairly clean. Hair mostly gathered on the roller ends. Easy enough to remove. As for dustbin emptying, fully automatic. About 20 seconds later, the dustbin's empty. We tested with all types of debris: seeds, grains, sand, and litter. In every case, the dock achieved a full clean-out. Even with a dustbin packed with pet hair, it emptied completely, not a single strand left. Your shedding fur baby is going to love this thing. Now, what about mopping? Can this vibrating mop really compete with traditional pads? Well, it depends on the mode. In Deep Plus mode, the robot moves twice as slow, and the results are way better than in Quick mode. So let's push this robot to its limit in that deep cleaning mode. After pre-wetting the pad at the dock, it goes after coffee stains. After 2 passes, most of the mess is gone, but streaks remain. A second cleaning cycle reduces them, but doesn't eliminate them entirely. Along the baseboards, the side mop really struggles. The weak contact pressure leaves about 1.8 inches of untouched space at the wall and up to 4.7 inches in the corners. That's about the same as robots without any edge cleaning mechanism at all. Juice stains? Same story. 2 passes in deep mode cleaned up the center nicely, but the edges and corners were still lacking. Now let's see how long it takes to remove dried dirt. On the first pass, the robot smeared some of it around, picked up a bit. Second pass, better, but you can still see the track marks. Third pass, the floor looks more even, and the brown patches are fading. Passes 4 and 5. More dirt collected, but there's still too much on the pad, leaving streaks behind. By passes 6 and 7, the center looks clean, but along the edges, the side mop still can't keep up, just like in earlier tests. And now, the hardest challenge? Dried ketchup. Let's see if our little Neil Armstrong can handle it. After 2 passes, it's just smeared and softened. After a rinse at the dock, 2 more passes. The red blobs start losing shape. Tomato goo spreads around. By the 5th and 6th passes, the robot starts picking it up, but streaks, wheel marks, and leftover stains are still there. Passes 7 and 8. Surface looks cleaner, but dirty pad streaks ruin the visual. On passes 9 and 10, most of the mess is finally gone. And only by the 12th pass does the center of the floor look presentable. Bottom line, for mopping, the S8 MaxV Ultra lags behind models with real scrubbing pads. It's fine for light maintenance cleaning, but don't expect miracles. After cleaning, the dock rinses both pads, including the little round side mop, in hot water. The claimed temperature is 140 degrees Fahrenheit, but in reality, the pads only heat up to about 90.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the lowest actual temp we've measured so far in lab tests. Water use and cleaning duration are standard. Here's what the self-cleaning sounds like. To evaluate mop washing, we used deep clean mode with hot water. And no detergent, even though the dock has a dispenser. Coffee left stains across the pad, including the sides and rim. After washing, beige spots faded, but clean and dirty areas were still visible. Hand washing clearly did a better job. A few squeezes and the pad looked brand new. Juice left the usual marks on the microfiber and mini mop. The station cleaned it up fairly well, visually at least. The round mop was still dirty, but squeezing it by hand released only a bit of dirty water. So, not bad. Clumps of dirt stuck to the pad, especially on the left edge. The round mop was also stained. After washing, the microfiber looked evenly gray and the mop visibly cleaner. But don't be fooled. Brown foam and murky rinse water told the real story. Post-ketchup, the pad turned reddish. The left side cleaned better than the right. Visually, the pad seemed clean, just a bit stained. Washing with detergent helped a little more, but the difference was minor. Overall, the Roborock S8 MaxV Ultra has a better self-cleaning system than the Q Revo series. The rotating brush really scrubs out the microfiber, even with tough stains. After washing, the thick pad holds a lot of water. But that's fine because the dock includes a built-in dryer. And it's whisper quiet. You won't hear it during the day. Thermal readings showed the drying temperature hits at least 118 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 20% higher than average. The pad dries completely within a few hours. No complaints there. Now let's wrap this up. The S8 MaxV Ultra is so smart, Matthew McConaughey would have taken it instead of TARS. This robot expertly navigates around objects and even avoids cables. But when it comes to puddles and stains, things get tricky. The dual rollers do a solid job deep cleaning carpets and picking up debris from laminate, even with moderate suction power. The mop lift is top tier at 0.8 inches, but that little side mop? Pretty useless. Wet mopping just isn't this robot's strong suit, but mop pad washing? That's where it shines. This vacuum is a great match for homes with deep carpets and tricky layouts. Got pets? Even better. That's it for today's review. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and for hitting that like button. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.